Ryan might have trouble finding parking.
Good idea.
So we need a quorum.
We don't have a
We
quorum.
don't have a quorum just yet. I mean, they roll in right at the
Yeah.
at the time.
Especially Greg.
Yeah. Do you want me to announce it? She's telling people about the folks out there? Or? Okay. Everyone, we're not starting just yet, but wanted to let you know that the live stream is up. So if anyone is not in the room and wants to follow along, the live stream should be accessible now. Okay.
Well, I hope Farley and Ryan are coming. We don't want to be too short.
I'm sure they're looking for parking,
Oh, okay.
right?
That could be. I just walked over, so
Yeah, I think I got like the last
Yeah.
parking spot, so.
I could move over to one of the other seats.
Be cozy. Oh, well.
Thank you so much. How have you been?
Good.
Good.
Oh, I don't. I'm good. I have my
Oh, yeah.
bottle with me. Okay, we have a minute.
Rebecca? Yes. Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry. Well, that's our core.
What?
That's
Yep.
our core.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Greg?
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Good to see you. Good, how are you?
How long this will be.
Yeah, I know.
We'll keep a spare.
You want to start? Do you want to wait a minute?
Did you see Greg out there?
I did not. Millersville here.
Yeah.
I thought he'd be there.
You do have a quorum.
Yeah, we have a quorum. I'll give it 1 minute.
I guess if he is
Do you want to
coming.
invite Garmin in now?
I told him when you got started further to come in.
I don't know how many people are interested in speaking versus how many people just want to be here. We'll see. I mean, if we go past an hour, hour and a half,
Yeah, that's the
we can table it till next. Until next meeting, and then still get.
I didn't know if people reached out to you about like
the doorman will usher everyone out.
No.
I can't imagine
Do the best you can.
Well,
that the comments aren't going to get repetitious.
we'll have to see. Yeah.
I always follow the team.
Yeah.
Let's just wait for the exit.
Just that it's additional neighborhood development.
All right, we're going to get started. It's great to see so many of you here. This is amazing. I love to see the public involvement. There are a lot of folks in the room, and I'm sure a lot of people who want to speak today. So we want to make sure that everyone is courteous. Does that help? Everyone's courteous and concise with their comments. So we're going to start with our hearing for the ordinance to amend the Millersville Borough Code of Ordinances, Chapter 380, zoning to modify certain specific criteria and area and bulk requirements for the traditional neighborhood overlay development. The issue at hand tonight is the text amendments to allow for modification to the current traditional neighborhood overlay. Garmin is going to present a summary of their proposed changes, and then we'll open the floor to public comments. We're going to make sure everyone gets to speak who wants to. The biggest change that they're looking for is an allowance for standalone apartments versus apartments over commercial. We are not addressing the design at this time. That would be something that potentially would happen down the line. We know that the biggest concerns are traffic and overcrowding of schools. So we are fully aware of all of those concerns because we have them too. But roadway design will ultimately be the decision of PennDOT. And that's something that they would be presenting later on once the design is moving forward. So we can't really comment on the traffic at this point, but there would be a traffic study. Lane alignments, additional lanes, signaling would all be addressed at that time. Well, if your concerns are about traffic, we can't speak. So that's why I'm making a statement now that that's not something we're going to be able to address with any specificity tonight. As I mentioned, the other thing is schools, certainly concerned about that. Ultimately, decisions on school planning will be up to the school board. What we've heard from the superintendent over the years that this parcel has been available for traditional neighborhood overlay, it has been factored into their planning. So we cannot also comment on that tonight.
Could I interrupt again?
I would prefer you didn't. We're going to we want to keep things moving tonight. So we're going to have Garmin make a short presentation, and then I'll go over the kind of guidelines for comments this evening. So with that, Garmin.
Yeah, thank you very much for your time here tonight. To open the conversation, I'd like to provide just a statement of context of historical events that ultimately brought us to the hearing tonight. The subject property consists of approximately 60 acres of land area. We have presented a concept plan showing the crossings at Penridge Traditional Neighborhood Development. The borough adopted its current zoning ordinance in 2003, with the subject tract being designated for medium-density residential use at that time. There has been amendments to this property since 2003, the first being the addition of a traditional neighborhood development overlay in 2016. The second being in 2025, when the borough removed the overlay in favor of the current traditional neighborhood development zoning classification. Through this time, the direction has remained consistent with this property to encourage well-designed development that reflects the principles of walkability, compatibility with surrounding land uses, and provides new accommodations that would allow residents to live, work, and recreate within the neighborhood. Consistent with the borough zoning classification, this property lies within the Lancaster County urban growth boundary. This designation is intended to direct growth to appropriate locations, while infrastructure and planning objectives can effectively be supported. Directing growth to properties such as this one ensures that agricultural lands outside of the urban growth boundary remain largely preserved. With those objectives firmly in mind, we have engaged in a multi-year collaborative process with borough staff to shape a plan that is not only compliant with the ordinance objectives, but responsive to the existing community context. The result was a proposal that respects and reinforces the character of the surrounding built environment. We have deliberately organized land uses to provide logical and appropriate transitions, maintaining single-family homes adjacent to existing single-family neighborhoods, and placing proposed multifamily homes adjacent to existing multifamily development. This approach is intentional and reflects a commitment to compatibility rather than contrast. The zoning text amendments before you are in large part dimensional refinements or clarifications intended to improve the usability and interpretation of the existing ordinance. The most notable request is to permit a portion of the multifamily units to be constructed as standalone buildings. We believe this adjustment advances the intent of traditional neighborhood development by allowing for smaller scale structures, a more compatible building form with surrounding land uses, and ultimately a less intense development overall. It is important to recognize the broader implications of this approach. During the zoning review process, we demonstrated in February of 2025 the strictly by right plan featuring commercial uses on the first floor with apartments above would result in nearly double the amount of commercial space that's currently proposed. That scenario would generate over 1,500 additional daily vehicle trips to the site as compared to the plan before you today. By contrast, the plan supported by these amendments represents a more balanced medium density outcome that remains fully consistent with the zoning ordinance while reducing overall intensity and traffic demand. We acknowledge that the traffic impacts will occur. We acknowledge again that there's traffic concerns, as they would with any development of this scale. However, under this plan, those impacts are reduced and more manageable, and they will be subject to PennDOT review and approval once we submit land development plans. In addition, this proposal brings with it meaningful public benefits, including planned transportation improvements along the corridor, enhanced pedestrian connections linking Route 999 and Route 741 westward into the borough, improved access to transit, and new recreational amenities for future residents. In every respect, zoning history, regional growth policy, site design, and infrastructure availability, we feel that this proposal aligns with the borough's long-established vision for this property. It represents not a departure, but a careful and deliberate, responsible implementation of the vision of this plan. The Borough and County Planning Commission have reviewed the zoning text amendment that's before the council tonight. They have recommended approval as drafted. Being that none of the proposed amendments have changed, we're happy to keep most of this time to public comment. If now or at any time following public comment, the board would like clarity on any of the specific text amendments, we're happy to address them specifically at that time. But with that time, we'd like to turn that over to public comment now, unless there's specific questions.
All right, thank you. We're going to have residents come up, make their comment. There will not be any back and forth. We weren't going to have everyone come up. We're going to have Garmin respond if there's any questions that come up during that period. They'll have an opportunity to respond at the end. Council will also then address comments and make comments before a potential vote. I also want to just again remind you that the discussion tonight is about the change to the ordinance, which many of you have in your hand, and that's all we're going to be addressing at this time. We do have a meeting, a regular council meeting following this, and so if you have comments about other items not related to the ordinance change, that would be the time to make those comments. So with that information, state your name and residence.
Hi, my name is Melissa Ostrowski. I live in Spring Drive in Millersville. And on behalf of the people here, we would like to reconvene this meeting at a time when everybody can participate. Most people raise their hand if you cannot hear what's going on or what was just said. There's about 70 people in the lobby. And so this isn't really a good public forum. I think we need to reschedule and have it at a place where everybody can. So I'm respectfully asking that we make sure we get to a place so we can all participate. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa.
I would just like to comment along the very same line.
Phyllis, we're going to table the rest of the meeting.
I think that's what you need to do. And I just want people to know that in July 2025, at a Borough Council meeting, I recommended that we hold this public hearing in a bigger venue so that everybody could be accommodated. And that didn't happen, and it wasn't considered, and it needs to be now.
I verified that.
That's enough. That's enough. Linda, that's enough. Please, take your seats. We never know how many folks show up. Typically, it's about 4. So we want to make sure that everyone, Linda, that's enough.
It was chosen
That's
not to have
enough.
a large enough venue.
No.
It was brought up last time, it was chosen not to have
Linda,
a large enough venue.
you're out of order. If you speak up again, I will ask you to leave. Our intent is to make sure everyone gets to speak and hear. I was hopeful that we could accommodate everyone tonight. Since we cannot, we will table this and we will reschedule for a larger venue at a later time, hopefully this month. With that, I'm going to close the hearing.
You can continue the rest of the meeting.
Yes, I plan to continue the rest of the meeting.
Lauren, tell people that if the meeting will continue, so if they're going to leave, they need to leave now.
Okay. Our regularly scheduled council meeting will be happening, but if you're planning to leave, please do so quickly so we can continue on with our meeting.
We need to negotiate everything now before Ms. Gorman paying for you.
No, they've already agreed to do so.
They have, okay.
That's all right.
Thank you.
It's all, hey, if everyone wants to reschedule, I was worried people would be unhappy if we did the opposite. So we'll make sure everyone gets. It's everyone's concern. We'll see you there.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
We are still live streaming.
Yep.
So we probably want to keep moving.
Yep. All right. At this time, I'll call the meeting to order, and we will take a moment to pledge to the flag and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. First item of business is approval of the May 26th, 2026 council meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve approve the motion to approve the minutes from the council meeting held on May 26, 2026.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Greg was? Okay, thanks. All right, all those in favor of approving the meeting minutes from May 26, 2026 as presented signify by saying aye. Aye. All right. Thanks, Joe. I didn't mention this earlier. Our Vice President, Joe Lane, is calling, and he's a little under the weather, so he's on the phone. Next up, we do have citizens' requests or concerns. We'll have, just like with the hearing, come up, name, address, comment.
Okay, my name is Phyllis Giberson, and I live over on Manor Avenue, which is 999. I notice on your agenda that we will have an opening on Borough Council as Marianne Karlovish has resigned. I know that you will be requesting resumes from residents to fill that vacancy. I would like to recommend that someone be chosen who is not already on planning or other special committees in the borough. There are others who I hope would be interested. The same people should not be on everything. We should get more different citizen representation.
Thank you. Other comments?
Hello, how's everybody doing? My name is Dave Backer. 3 Oak Ridge Drive. I recently sent an email to the mayor and so forth, and Lauren, and the codes enforcement officer regarding our neighbor's pool at 557 Oak Ridge Drive. The pool for the last 5-6 years has been a mess. It's black, it has ducks in it, it's just horrible. We've been living with that for over 6 years, I would say, and it has to end. The individual that lives there does not care about anybody, does not care about us, does not care about the other neighbors. No one should have to live in Millersville beside a pool like that. There's no pool cover, there's no gate around the pool, so if a child would be walking to school and walk up that driveway and fall into that pool, and that child would drown. And I'm bringing it to attention now because it has to be addressed. It's been going on way too long, and it has to be addressed so we can get this taken care of.
Yep, thank you. Thank you. We are taking the procedural steps to address it, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes.
Hi, my name's Eric Malcura. My current address is 10 Green Hills Drive, and I'm currently living at 557 Oak Ridge Drive. I'm the person who the last person up here was just speaking about. I know that there was a letter that was sent out that wasn't even addressed to me, so I have not been able to receive, like actually see what it looks like, the letter itself. I came in here yesterday and requested it. Yesterday was Monday. Yeah, I came in here yesterday and requested it. So once I get it and see, I'm able to see what actually it says, then there's we have to figure out who is going to be responsible for doing this, because yes, I am living there, but the house is not in my name. The house is in the name of my late mother, and I don't have any legal or financial responsibilities for the house. If I had all the money in the world, I would take care of it right now, right on the spot, but I don't. So the letter went to my father's guardians, and they seem to think they don't have to take care of it, and either because they're guarding my father and not my mother, and the house is in her name. So it's a gray area where we have to figure out who's responsible for doing what. And like I said, if I had the money, I'd take care of it right away. There's very little I can do until I can find some funds to, to take care of it. And by the way, there is a pool cover on it. It's just that it has sunk in. I want to say one other thing. 2 years ago, I was begging my mother when she was still alive, let's take care of the pool, fill it in, let's take care of the fence, fix it. She couldn't do it because of money. So that's why we're in this situation right now.
All right, thank you, Eric. We'll make sure that you get in contact with the borough manager and code enforcement officer to get the information.
I do have a meeting with Rob Moyer on Thursday.
Excellent. All right, thanks so much. Anyone else to address council? All right, we will move on to, oh, I'm sorry.
Ken Weaver, 13 Blue Rock Road, Millersville. One question, is our police force now full? I know you were trying to hire a while back.
Not yet, but we're getting very close.
Okay. Now, this would pertain to Garmin and the present situation of traffic in Millersville. If we get that place full of people like it's supposed to be, we can't take care of the traffic we have. Like I've brought up before, I know with Jeff, 999 is a raceway. They come around the corner from John Hers and they gun it. And I live right around the corner by the new dog grooming place. And then people come north from Washington Borough toward Millersville, and they'll bypass all the cars packed that are stacked up at the light, and then they turn around to pull into the park area to go to John Hers or wherever. We're gonna have a head on there, and there's gonna be deaths unless we start taking care of traffic.
I believe that area is part of the traffic study.
The speed, no, but just the speed
Yeah.
in general, and I don't care if you can put a speed trap up, you can park in my driveway, I don't care. But it needs to be addressed sooner or later. I'll hate to say I'll be bringing this up every borough meeting until it's done.
Okay.
Thank you.
If you want to address this at, when you give your report.
Definitely.
Excellent, okay. Anyone else? Yes.
John Lichty, 84 Municipal Drive. A couple concerns. The council, what's the level of interaction with Manor Township regarding the council and development needs? Is there communication between council and Manor Township?
We do.
And how much is it?
We do talk with them. If you're concerned about a development outside of the borough that you may have heard about, council hasn't heard very much about that, and we're working to rectify that, to get as much information for our borough residents as possible on anything proposed that would impact residents, even if it's in Manor Township.
I think there needs to be a lot of interaction between township and borough. We got, relative to traffic studies, it seems like the cart before the horse. It's the traffic first and the development later. We got Armstrong, we got Ashland Farms, we got Cross Gates, we got Punk's Market, we have 741, we have Garmin Development, and now it's going to be like a metropolitan situation here, and you're going to decide on things and make amendments, and then you're going to ask PennDOT to address the situation before the other things are resolved. And I think that's a serious concern, because we're the residents, we're going to be impacted by it, and the new people coming in and development behind John Hurd Market and the Kenny Farm, that's going to grow. What's this going to look like down here with John Hurd Market and all the two developments and everything on the south side of town? How are you going to manage that if you pass all these proposals and then you ask PennDOT to fix it? And the other thing too, when you vote on these things, I think there should be a roll call, not just a voice call, but there should be a roll call of all council. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Randall Snyder, 209 Manor Avenue. I agree with him on the traffic. Manor Avenue is a racetrack. I don't know, there's different kids come down that street. I know they're going 60 miles an hour. And I don't know, I sat in my porch on Sunday almost all day. I seen an officer go by one time. Something has to be done. I don't care if you put speed bumps on the road. Something has to be, I know it's a state road, something has to be done. And the traffic with the trucks going to Turkey Hill, going to the landfill, it's terrible. It's just terrible. And it's just like, they must get paid by the load, because it just seems like they keep flying through there. So I agree with, something has to be done with the traffic. Speed has to stop. Motorcycles are terrible. It's everything. I mean, even the e-bikes are bad, but that's the way it is.
Thank you, Randall. Yes.
My name's Keith White. I live at Manorview Drive here in the borough. I've been to the meeting last week with the supervisor of Manor Township, at this meeting now, and was at the school board, or listened to the school board yesterday. It seems to me that we, as a community, and I appreciate all that you do, it seems to me that we are not communicating between Manor Township and what's going to happen back there with the Whitmer-Schertzer Farm Park. The school district, okay, possibly selling Eshelman to Vista Block, 12 acres, to get an additional 18 acres where they can build the school. Those three groups need to communicate, as well as your own group here that is ready to spend 50% of the grant for the park improvement, because that park improvement that you guys are overseeing is also going to be influenced by where is going to be Eshelman, where are they going to put the apartments back there. It's a reality that some of this is going to happen. Okay, I'm not naive enough to think that this is all just going to turn into state farmland. Okay, but we need to communicate and whether an ad hoc committee with 1 or 2 people from this group, Manor Township, the school board, the Parks Department, 1 or 2 people from the community, whatever you decide to do, okay, I trust in your judgment. But we cannot survive lack of communication. And we better understand that these developers, okay, we need to be greedy. Greedy. When they tell the school board, we'll buy your 12 acres and we'll give you 18. 18 ain't enough for me. You want my 12? You're gonna do all this extra stuff for the school? Fine. I want 25 or 30 acres, and I want prime land. That's what I told the supervisors. Not all land is the same. Okay? And some of that land down behind John Hers is not equal to the land that's backed by where the APBA Game Center and the Income Store used to be, backed by the park. It's not all the same. It has different value. Just like the value on 741, as you're coming from the corn wagon, on the left has certain value, and on the right has greater value. All I'm asking, you guys know this. We need to communicate with each other as a community, and if we don't, we're all going to lose. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. Anyone else?
Regarding the gentleman's comment, I think it'd be wise if there's a separate entity set up that would include the township, the school district, PennDOT, and the borough, and not one entity, not one municipality does anything without the approval of the other. So things are coordinated and there's communication, and the entity, the organized entity, whether it be legal or not, chartered or not, that would resolve the community impact that's going to occur and affect us for the next 50 years. Thank you.
Thanks.
My name is Dale Lawrenson. Thing I'm noticing with all this development going on, the roads are getting pressed harder and harder. I think you have to require more for the developer to do to provide the space. Maybe if it takes 4 or 5 lane roads like out on the road there at whatever that is.
Centerville Road? Centerville Road,
Yeah.
they did a good job there.
You know, the pressure's getting greater, and they're as high as want to build, I don't know if it's close to 1,800 to 2,000 houses. That one out here at the potato farmer, Guy Eshman's farm, they're digging that in, and I don't know what's going to happen. That's just my thoughts. I'm saying, I think if you require more, maybe some of this would tone down a little. Okay.
No, thank you.
Thanks, Dale. Anyone else? I'm sorry, you're in the sun. All right, thank you for those comments. We'll move on to our action items. First is, I received, sadly, the resignation of Marianne Kerr-Lavage last week. She is stepping down from her role on council due to health reasons, so we wish her the best. We thank her for her service to the borough. The next step would be advertising an empty spot and having interested applicants submit a resume and give a short 3 to 5 minute speech to council at our next meeting. At that time, we would hope to vote. We want to keep this moving. We want to fill the seat as quickly as possible. But at this time, I'll make the motion with regret to accept the resignation of Councilmember Marianne and begin the advertising the vacancy.
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you. Questions or comments on that? All right, All those in favor of accepting Marion's resignation signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Joe. All right, moving along. Next is approval of the opening of new Pliget account for park grant funds. I'll let Rebecca share background on this.
So, as you're all aware, with our receiving of the park grant, we are making steps forward to be able to execute on the phase 1 of the Park Master Plan project. We are at the point now, we've done all the preliminary submissions to the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. So we've been cleared to go ahead and request that first 50%. The great part about the way that this grant is set up is that we can request the money in advance so that we can use it to actually spend on the project. It's not a reimbursement, it's an actual upfront grant usage. In order to do that, though, and to follow the guidelines of the grant agreement, we need to open a separate account to put those grant funds. Staff's recommending going with a Pliget account due to the great rates that we get with our Pliget accounts that we currently have, the option for a term, which we'll talk more about, and then the ease of using the money out of this account. It's essentially a checking account, but it has much better interest rates than an average checking account because Pliget is just set up for local governments. So what we would be looking this evening would be to authorize myself to open that Pliget account on behalf of council for the park grant funds in alignment with the agreement, as well as authorizing the initiation of requesting that grant funds from PADCNR.
Thank you. Well, hearing that, I'll make the motion to authorize the borough manager to open the new Pliget account for the park grant funds as described in the grant agreement with the PA Department of Conservation and Natural Resources.
I'll second.
Discussion, questions, comments?
This is probably a good time to also let you know where we're at in terms of the project. In looking at the park committee met, they had at their meeting last week is when they looked at some different options for playground equipment and essentially prefabricated restrooms that would be placed into a slightly adjacent spot from where they currently are. And they're taking all those considerations in, updating the design. We've done the survey work, all of the preparation work. We are going to be looking at doing more of the bidding and selection of vendors over the winter, due to the fact right now that prices are coming in double, triple due to oil prices at the moment. We are told by our engineer and by others that we've heard from who are trying to do park projects as well, that our best bet might be to go ahead and take care of the bidding over the winter when those contractors are gearing up for the next year and their prices are a little more realistic over the winter. And then we'd be looking to do the actual implementation then and the actual construction first thing in spring. Hopefully then by end of June, things would be up and ready to go. So that would be what we're looking at the moment. I know it's like tough to wait, but we also have plenty of time to use the grant funds. It does not, we don't have, I think we have 5 years on one of them, 3 on the other. We've got plenty of time. And we want to get the most bang for our buck, especially because the grant fund is only so much. So, you know, the park committee was talking about, well, you know, do we try to go for it now and know we'd be getting a lot less than we'd want, or wait to be able to get more? Was that Joe?
Joe, do you want to share something? Okay.
No, apologies.
Quite all right.
So yeah,
Okay.
that's where we're at.
That's great. Yeah, I'd like to see those new potties in sooner rather than later, but
Yeah.
want to save the cost. Any other questions or comments on this? All right, we have a motion and a second, so all those in favor to approve the borough manager opening the new Pliget account for park grant funds as described in the grant agreement with the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and National Resources, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Joe.
I'm going to say aye with a nod to Keith I'm hoping this grant will allow for development of more green space there, not parking lots. There were a lot of good public comments, and we're all aware of some of that.
Yeah, in the Phase 1 project, there is no plans for parking. The only part of Phase 1 that we're looking at is new playground equipment for ages 2 to 5, and the implementation of the new restroom facility.
Excellent, all right. And then along those lines, we'll make the motion to authorize the borough manager to initiate the request of the grant funding from DCNR for the first part of the park improvement project, Phase 1. That's the motion.
I'll second it.
Thanks, Ryan. Any other questions or comments, discussion on that? All right. All those in favor of authorizing the borough manager to initiate the request of grant funding from DCNR for the first park improvement project, Phase 1, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion passes. Thank you. The next one related to sewer development at Funk's Farm. Rebecca, do you want to share any background on that?
Sure. This is as procedural as it probably gets. The third amendment to the agreement concerning the provision of the sewer service at the new Village of Funk's Farm. That third amendment happened last year. The agreement was between a couple of parties related to that project, and specifically our portion of it, which is the sewer. But one of the parties to that, HHF Real Estate Development, is trying to wind down operations, and they cannot be a party to the agreement in order for them to be able to wind down. They're the owners of that development firm are aging, as they put it, and they would like to be done. So in order for them to be able to do all of that, council does have to pass a fourth amendment to the agreement that essentially takes them out of the project altogether. They were, at this point, only involved in the Lot 2 part anyway. They were not involved at all with the residential portion of the project. So it doesn't really change anything besides just what the agreement says.
All right, so we're just removing a party
Yep.
in the contract. Questions for Rebecca? All right. I'll go ahead and make the motion then to authorize the president or vice president of council and the borough secretary to execute the fourth amendment to agreement among the borough, HHF Real Estate Development LLC, PA Millersville Funk Farm Fee Simple LLC, and Farmhouse Village Homeowners Association when it has been executed on behalf of all other parties.
I'll second that.
Thanks, Brian. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor of authorizing president, vice president, or secretary to execute the Fourth Amendment agreement changes signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you. We'll move on to workshop items. Discussion of the investment strategy for the Pliget. Rebecca, you want to share additional info?
Sure, absolutely. As I mentioned with the item before, one of the great options about our Pliget investments is that there is an option that we haven't yet taken advantage of, but we can. It's called a term. It's sort of like a CD light. It doesn't put the money away into a CD in a way that it is not at all liquid anymore. It does stay a tad bit liquid, but it allows us to gain interest on it. One of the things that I wanted to bring to council, especially given the timing with the grant funds, is that our reserve fund right now, our general fund reserve, which is our 3 to 6 month reserve that we're, God forbid there's an emergency, that's the reserve fund for the general fund operating. That is sitting in a Pliget account, but we don't draw from that account. We don't want to draw from that account. one option that we have is putting some of the money into a term account that would allow it to generate additional interest while keeping most of the money still liquid, as our policy when it comes to our reserve funds. Staff would recommend $200,000 in a rotating 3-month term, so that if something were to come up, you know, does not necessarily have to go back into the term. We could do this for both the park grant funds, knowing that we'd be requesting them now and then probably not using them in terms of the actual construction until next spring. But then we could potentially also do this for the reserve funds in order to generate additional interest, especially at a time when budgets are tight. So look, additional ways, you know, every little bit helps. So additional ways for us to be able to generate some more interest. So it's something for council to think about. If you want to, if I can answer any questions this evening. And if council is looking to make those types of changes, that could be on next agenda.
It sounds like a good strategy to me as far as making interest on the money that we have available to us, but also being able to access the funds. So I'm always usually in favor of taking any and all staff recommendations. So that's my thoughts on it.
Are there any penalty fees involved with any early withdrawals, if necessary, from the account?
From my understanding in my research on the term and meeting with the Pliget account manager, because it's not like a real CD, we wouldn't get a penalty like you would with a CD. The way that the term is sort of purchased is a little bit different. They basically try to make up $1 million with a couple of different terms and put them together. So because of the fact that it's not a traditional CD, my understanding is we don't get a traditional penalty. If for some reason within those 3 months something really drastic would have to happen, but if something drastic really did happen, we would be able to use the funds. We don't get a traditional penalty. But by doing a small portion of the money, not the full amount that's in the account, hopefully that would
Right,
also.
we have backup there.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you.
So would there be multiple 200,000, let's say, multiple Pliget accounts set up, or are we talking about one account?
So the
Can you
way
do
that
multiple accounts?
yes, so the way that our Pliget accounts are set up is that we have 2 Pliget accounts. One is our reserve fund, general operating reserve fund. The other one is our liquid fuels fund. Beneath those accounts are sub-accounts. It lives in either class or prime. Those are just terms to describe how the money is invested. We would be adding on basically a third line under those 2 accounts, although we wouldn't be doing this for liquid fuels, we would just be doing this for the one, but we could do it for the park funds, where it would be an additional amount that's away, so to speak, in a term.
Okay.
So it's more of a sub-account than it is a new account.
Okay.
Other discussion? Do you need anything more from us as far as just a support?
Is that, if we're interested in, okay, then I can put together that for the next agenda.
Great. Next up, we have the mayor's report.
Yes. Okay. Okay, recently I had the privilege of swearing into office 2 new part-time police officers to join our force. On April 24th, I swore in Officer Troy Rogers. Officer Rogers has a wealth of police experience. He recently retired from serving with the Manor Township Police Department after 25 years. And then on May 29th, I swore into office Officer Kevin Cruikshank, and he brings a blend of experience to our police force. He graduated from the Delaware County Community College Municipal Police Academy in December of 2000 and served as a police officer for a year. Then he transitioned over to a role as a corrections officer in the Delaware County prison system for several years. Then he received a certification in surgical technology and works in a hospital full-time. So he recently recertified his Act 120 police qualification, resulting in his part-time employment with us. So we look forward to the valuable contributions both officers will offer to our community. And I have an event that I'd like to bring up. I'd like to mention is our annual Tomato Festival, which will take place on Saturday, July 11th and Saturday, July 18th. As usual, there'll be food, fun, games, and entertainment. And food will be served from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock. And the proceeds of the festival will benefit the Blue Rock Fire Rescue Organization. And I was going to mention something about June 22nd, but I see on our agenda that the borough manager is going to bring that up, so
Either
that's
way is
it.
fine.
I'll ask Chief Markovich if he has anything he wants to share also at this time.
Yeah, I would just say, and I've talked with both of the gentlemen previously, and everyone should know I have an open office. This has been here 30 years doing this in Millersville, and I hear those complaints loud and clear, and I want to hear them, and I see it because I'm not far out of the borough, but drive through the borough all the time. I do have a shortage of officers right now. That is just a fact. I'm still operating with the number of officers that were here 30 years ago when I started, and obviously we've grown all around here since 30 years ago. So the good news is we're almost there. By the end of the year, I have 2 that have to go to the police academy, so that's 6 months, but I'll have them by the end of the year. And in this current process, I think we're doing pretty good to get 1 more, which would put us back to full staff. So when I can promise you, when we're at full staff, you will see a big difference. I just cannot do the amount of traffic and other things that we would normally like to do when I don't have enough staff. But we're getting there.
What's our biggest call, what are your most calls on, domestic or traffic or college students?
It's not, it has changed over the years. We used to have more of a, more all towards campus and off-campus housing, but that has actually changed quite a bit. And it's just a mix of calls now, really. It's just the dynamics of the borough have changed. I'm starting to feel old that I've been here long enough to see an actual change like that come to the borough, but it's much different now than it was when I started.
The biggest thing I see living in the borough and on the main land is the speed of everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
And most people that have been here long enough to remember my early years, most people knew not to speed in Millersville because we did a horrendous amount of traffic enforcement. I mean, we wrote thousands of speeding tickets a year.
You got me as a college kid.
Well, there you go. But I need the staff to do that because we've also increased calls, and when an officer has to run to go to a call and oftentimes has to make an arrest, you're tied up for hours on end, and I'm down to 1 officer a lot of the times. So when I get back to full staff, you will see a difference for sure.
Your officers do a great job. We've had to call twice for medical, and we just have someone with failing health in our family. So they're there right away. They're very helpful. So even though I know you are shorthanded, even though it wasn't a call for police, it was medical. So good for them. They're there right away and they're very helpful.
I appreciate that, Rusty, and you've even helped our officers on emergency calls, so thank you.
Yeah, I'll second that. We do have great officers, so. Manager's report.
Sure, so wanted to give an update on the Valley Road Stormwater Project that just commenced this Monday, yesterday. We did put out an alert to residents letting them know, for the most part, Valley Road doesn't get a lot of traffic. It's mostly just the folks in that neighborhood. But we did put out an alert and let all of the residents know directly there that there would be some construction going on. But we're hoping that all the work can be done within 2 weeks. They're right now still working on prepping the site and getting started with creating the apron, as it's called, of where some of the rock structures are going to go that help keep the stormwater moving in the right direction. But we're hoping that that project will hopefully be done within the next 2 weeks. But that is a big one going on for us, as well as our team's out doing a couple of patches. You may have seen them out on the roads. They were doing a patch on Landis, doing a patch today. They were at the corner of George and Model, So they're doing some patches because summertime is the time to get all those patches done on the roads. Any questions about the stormwater project?
Nope.
And then, yes, I just wanted to mention the June 22nd Conestoga River lecture that we're having here in the Borough Hall that evening, 6 o'clock. We have a great panel of speakers lined up to talk about the Conestoga, the borough's connection to the Conestoga River. We've got some experts in the area, both on the historic side, but also on the science side of it. Yes, so it'll be, I think it'll be a really neat lecture that we have here in the office. So we hope that a number of people will come and enjoy and help us celebrate the Conestoga being the river of the year. That's all I got.
Thank you. Well, for my president's report, I would encourage anyone who could attend the event on June 22nd to do so. Unfortunately, I'll be out of town, but it is really something special to be along the river of the year. So I also want to respond to some of the comments that were made earlier. I know Rebecca is in close contact with Manor Township's borough manager. We have not been in close contact with Vista Block. We reached out to them, Rebecca reached out, we have a meeting set up, myself, the chair of the planning commission, to get a sense of what they're looking to do. We are limited because the project is almost entirely in Manor Township. But I'm gonna do everything within my power to make sure that if that project happens, the borough gets as much benefit as possible. I don't know what that looks like, but hopefully we'll have some more information after we have the talk with Vista Block. And we will try to reschedule this hearing, look at our website. We'll try to figure out where we can have the hearing, probably Eshelman. So stay tuned for that. That's it. We do have another opportunity for citizens' requests or concerns, if anyone would like to comment.
Good evening, council members. My name is Dave Roach from Wallbank Road, and I just wanted to add something on to what this fine gentleman said about the intersection of North York Street, Manor Avenue, 999. I had that same situation occur today. I was a 6-car waiting to go onto Manor Avenue while the light was red. A lady that was 3 cars behind me came up and went into the park. Now, I don't know if this would be a question for Rebecca or not, but the funds that we're using for the park, would we be able to put like 1 or 2 speed bumps at the park entrance as a deterrent to stop these people from swinging through the park to get into John Hurst? That's my comment. So, that's it.
I'd like to add, these are great public comments. These are great comments you guys have made, and you're not talking to deaf ears. Every time we talk amongst ourselves, we talk about the traffic. So I've lived here 50 years, so we have your concerns too, right?
Yeah, and that left turn into John Hurst is a problem. I'll talk with the chief and, see what, maybe there's something that can be done with the signaling there. So,
I know the bigger problem that you're pointing out, I see it all the time. It's the traffic is backed up so far past it that people will come down the oncoming lane for 4 or 5 car lengths to not wait for traffic to move and just come down the head-on traffic, then turn left into the park. I see it all the time.
Yeah.
Money we have for the park.
This piece of land that you're focusing on, I had heard some years ago there was a Turkey Hill gonna build in that corner across
Yeah,
from
that
the
was,
Catholic Church.
that was discussed at one time, but that's not, that was discussed at one time. You are correct. I do remember that.
Dissolved.
Yeah,
They were gonna close New Danville and Millersville.
yeah, that's all gone. That was a previous developer.
I just wondered, I figured you people would know what's going on there. I would hope so.
Any other comments?
Sorry.
No.
I feel like I don't have to walk up here, but my name is Charles McCollum. I live in Baker Hills. Just a quick comment.
I've just seen creative ways to, you're not gonna stop developing, right? You're gonna deter it, you're gonna do the best way you can do to work with it. But in one case where I've seen a borough and a school district, because the impact fees are for roads, sewer, things, but the school district doesn't get anything, right? So we just landlocked the high school into a $100 million renovation that went over budget, because they always do. And estimate needs to be done. They want to use that for an exit for that development. That is in our borough. But you can be creative. We have to pay a prevailing wages when we build a school. So one thing you can look at is sometimes Longaberger Basket did it. They built a school and donated it as part of their development. So they can build it any way they want to because it doesn't belong to the school. Once they hand the keys over, then you have to apply by L&I and all those things. But it's just something creative to look at when you're bargaining. Like someone said, be greedy. The amount of acres, whatever, you know, we can go up, down, around. We pay a lot of money to build a building. If you've ever been a part of building a school, it takes a long time. It's very boring because you have a lot of people's hands involved. Whether it's the state, it kind of limits you take the limits to it. For example, you can't get mad at the school district for building the high school the way they did. They can only build it for the amount of students they have, not for projecting. It doesn't matter if the houses are built. If there's no one in them, they don't count. But again, if the developers build something, they can build it any way they want to. They have no rules or regulations. And then we can give return favors of whether it's property, tax breaks, whatever it is. So just be creative and thinking about it, because I know our roads are gonna be fine because PennDOT's gonna make them fine, the impact fees are gonna be fine, our sewer's gonna be, you know, whatever it is. But the school, I think, often gets the short end because there is no impact fee for them. All they do, and housing development kills school district, we know this. And the fact that they want rental properties makes it worse because people are gonna move because Penn Manor is a great school district. And when their kids are done, they're moving out. And another group of kids bringing their kids in. Where we've been in our house for 30 to 50 years, our kids went through, and then we continue to pay taxes when our kids are not there to make up for the shortfall when our kids were in. But when we get the apartments, they generally bring kids in. When the kids are done, they go back to where they like to live, but they didn't like the school, and a new family moves in. So just some things to watch when we project how many rental properties we have. The big difference between Lancaster City and York City, if you look at their filings, how they treat the property is a lot more people in Lancaster own their homes, and there's a lot more rentals in York City. And you can see the crime difference, right? When you own something, you take a little bit more pride in it than when you rent it, right? So when these overlays are out there and we're looking at the number of rentals, it's going to directly affect really crime. At the end of the day, crime, code enforcement, I'm living there, but it's not my property, you know, kind of thing. So. But I do appreciate all the work you do. I'm sure we all come and complain, you know, when we want something, but we rarely come and tell you, thank you for, I know it's a high paying job you guys have, but thank you for the work that you do, even though often you only hear when someone's disgruntled. But thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Just to jump on a comment there, if I understood this from the meeting last week, Vista Block owns that property at that corner that we're talking about, to get into Freedom Park and down, coming out of the sideway of John Herr. They own that.
The house in between,
That house.
yes.
They're an investment group, and they're seeking investors for the property.
Right, but they already bought that.
I believe that that's true. No? No?
That's my
They don't
understanding.
legitimately own it.
Oh.
That is what the developer said.
That's what he
That
said,
is what the developer said.
because he made a plan of how he was gonna change that intersection.
The developer also said he's in contact with you.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's true, all right? What's happening is.
Discussed afterwards.
No, I'm sorry, but people in government seem to forget about all of us. And we should know what's going on. It shouldn't be, I hate to say a secret, but that's what it seems like it is. There's stuff I've been in meetings with the school board for over a year about Ashland School. And people don't know about it. They don't know they're gonna build a new middle school.
We don't need.
Yeah, we have very little information. What I suspect is happening is the developer is trying to look at the feasibility of their project, and they need a few things to happen before they can move forward. They don't want to talk to anyone else until they confirm that they can do this land swap, or that they can exit onto Lehman, or something that is not currently allowable. So I suspect that that's why we haven't heard from them, because projects get a green light much farther down the process. But as I said, Rebecca and I, and the Chair of Planning Commission, we're meeting, we're gonna get as much information as possible, we're gonna be as creative as possible. I don't personally love the idea of any impacts to the park at all, and the current designs. We'll see what happens. We don't have control over most of those parcels, but 100%, we hear you. We will get as much information and be as transparent as possible.
And when we get that information, we promise you, we will hold it in a bigger venue for that first meeting.
Well, we had an FAQ posted for the development at 741 and 999. It may have been a little tricky to find, but, you know, we can do the same thing with anything else that is happening, to make sure residents have a place to go to find, you know, frequently asked questions, and hopefully that helps. But we do not have an executive session. Thank you all so much for coming. I really appreciate it. You have one more.
David Sykes, 344 Valley Road. Got a real non-confrontational question here. Does our sewer plant have the capacity, right within the next 5 years, we're looking at Funk's Farm housing, we're looking at the north side, putting in more housing, we're looking at 741 putting in more housing. The first question is, does our current sewer plant have the resources to deal with that?
The answer is yes. I'll let Rebecca fill in the details.
So, yes, the Funk's Farm was already incorporated into our sewer capacity because it was 10 plus years ago that the development came to the borough asking for sewer capacity. So yes, we've had an agreement in place for many, many years that we would ultimately be taking that sewer. We have the capacity for it. Also, same for the 999, 741 project. We do have the capacity for that when we upgraded the plant. We are looking at building a new pump station in Quaker Hills. The one that is in Quaker Hills right now is the oldest pump station that we have. There was already plans for us to be upgrading that, and we have capacity down at the sewer plant for that development. We can't speak to any other development because they would not be in the borough. Anything else that's, while Funk's Farm is outside of the borough, we have an agreement, a separate agreement to take care of that sewer. Anything else that's outside of the borough would not be coming onto our sewer.
Okay, it's just, with all these new housing coming around, I wanted to make sure first whether our sewer plant had the capability of handling all this, and then second, to make sure of whether we have the ability to charge I understand we can charge tapping fees, which is the fee to connect to the sewer system, but then, like you said, to make a new pumping station, can we make the developer pay for that instead of having to pay for it ourselves?
We've been talking about that for years, that our goal will be to come up with some type of agreement for that pump station.
Just hoping that we could make the developers pay for it, not ourselves. Okay.
That's part of our goal.
So I have one last question, I guess. Are you,
Could you come up to the mic?
Can you come up, please?
Yeah, sure. Hi, Pete Rios, Landis Avenue North. Fiscally, is the borough in good shape financially?
That's a very loaded question. There's so many different facets to how we're doing financially.
Are we financially solid? I mean, where are we?
Yes, I mean, the borough has reserve funds as needed.
Okay.
you know, the last couple of budgets have involved a tax increase. But in general, we're able to pay all of our bill. We are able to pay our bills if that's what you're asking.
So my question would be then, we're not in dire straits to sell this land without going through, I mean, I know there's been some years of work with some of this development, correct? Funk's Farm, for example, it's been years.
Yes, but it is not in Manor, or it is
That's
not in
in Manor
Millersville, that's in
Township.
Manor Township.
So the other borough properties, once again, we control that land, correct?
The land at 741 and 999
Yeah, so
is
the-
in the borough, but we do not own it.
I understand. So the developer's coming to us and trying to get us to agree to that development project under their terms, correct?
Under
Correct.
council's terms.
Is that what's happening? It is under still council terms?
Oh, absolutely. I
Okay.
mean, council this evening is talking about a text amendment. The developer has come to council saying, we would like to amend the ordinance to be able to do a development.
Yes.
They can do a development by right. They're coming and asking if they can make changes to
I understand.
the text
Right,
amendment.
okay.
So it is absolutely still in the borough's
Okay.
control.
So we're not in dire straits that we need to get this development settled financially, correct? That's what I'm hearing.
Right, but either
I mean, it's
way,
gonna
that
happen.
wouldn't be,
It's gonna happen.
right, but either way, that is not the borough's land, so we don't
I
have any
understand that.
financial interest in
I
the
understand.
property. Okay,
Other than the tax base.
sure,
Right.
right.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
Just a quick question for the mayor.
Sure, Eric.
I never heard of the tomato festival. Just to confirm, is that where we can go to throw tomatoes at each other? If so, I'm in.
Talking about the tomato festival, he said he hadn't heard of
Oh,
it.
yeah. That's been ongoing for years and years, and so,
I never entered it. I gotta check it out.
yeah, the bacon and tomatoes sandwiches are really good.
All right, I'll wrap it up once again. Thank you so much for coming and taking time out of your night to participate. Or I appreciate your comments, and we'll see you again soon. Hopefully, with that, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
All those in favor of adjournment, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thank you all so much.